Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Arkham City Batman. This is part of the Collect to Build Solomon Grundy wave. I'm really excited for this wave, as I'm a huge fan of the Arkham franchise, and a huge Batman fan and collector, as most of you guys know. I didn't know these things were hitting Target stores quite yet. I have a pre-order at the McFarlane toy store, and to my surprise, it has still not yet shipped. Usually those things ship quite a bit earlier than they say. My buddy told me he found a couple of these at Target, so I decided to try my luck. I went to a Target store on the way home from work, and there was absolutely nothing like usual. But I had the guy punch in the DCPI number, and he told me a couple different stores that had 6. And in my experience, when they have 6 of an item, it's a full case. I knew the number was going to be shared between this entire wave. So I went to the other Target, got the wave, and here they are. So let's check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Batman, Collect to Build Solomon Grundy. This is the first of 4 figures to complete him. Here he's in the package. He's got his grapnel launcher, he's got a collector's card, display stand, and Solomon Grundy's 2 legs. One side of the package, Batman from Arkham City. Other side simply says Batman. The bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case it helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Grundy. Here are the pieces you get. Here's a checklist of all the pieces. And here is the rest of the wave. Batman, Catwoman, Ra's al Ghul, and the Penguin. So no further ado, let's open him up. Here's the Arkham City Batman, next to the Arkham Asylum Batman that McFarlane released over 2 years ago. They do seem to share the majority of the parts, which is a little bit of a disappointment, as McFarlane has made strides since then, and I was hoping for an upgrade on the body. But either way, this new figure looks fantastic. And I did pick up the entire wave at Target today, and there is quite a story behind this. I'm sure all of you guys out there will appreciate the story. So when I went to the first Target, they didn't have anything. Had them punch in the number, and they told me 2 other Target stores in the nearby area that had 6. I knew that's a full case, being the entire wave and a couple of doubles. One of the Targets is about an hour away, and one was only about 10 or 15 minutes away. But before I went to that Target, I decided to give him a call. Asked the guy in the electronics section, had him punch in the DCPI. He said they had 6, and he asked me which one I wanted. I said, well, there are 4 different characters in the assortment. I would like to get all 4. He said he could only sell me 1 since the number is shared between the entire wave. I was just like, what? What do you mean? I absolutely hate this particular Target store. They have this rule that they've completely made up, saying they can only sell 1 item per collector per day. And if you guys know my channel, I like to get one of my Batman figures to open and one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. But I knew that was going to happen here, so I didn't even push that issue. I just wanted to get 1 of each of the characters. So I called there. He verified he had them, but he said that he could only sell me 1. And I said, well, they're different characters. It's not the same figure. So he didn't really say much. I drove up there, 15 minutes away, not a big deal. When I got there, I saw the guy talk to him on the phone. I said, hey, I called you on the phone. He said, okay, cool. Which one do you want? I said, well, I'd like to get all 4 of them. He said, I can only sell you 1. I said, what? That doesn't make sense. You said it's a limit of 1 item per customer per day. These are 4 different items. He said, well, the number is shared between the entire wave, so I'm only allowed to sell you 1. I said, that's not a policy. You're literally making this up right now. And honestly, he wasn't making that up, but that's a policy that he was told their store does. And I can kind of understand they don't really want to support scalpers. They don't want someone to come buy 6 of the same figure and then go sell them online. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I wasn't even trying to get 2 of them, which I would have liked. So he said he would go ask his manager. He went to the back, came back a few minutes later and said, oh, my manager said you can only have 1 of them since the number's shared. I was like, what? You really won't sell me 4 different action figures that you have right now? So I asked for the manager. He went out, got the manager. Manager came out smiling, pretty nice. I said, so, hey, I'm here to purchase these 4 items. You have them in the back. I know you do. Guy confirmed this. But he said he can only sell me 1. The guy said, yes, that's correct. The number is shared between the entire wave. We can only sell you 1 of those things today. If you don't come back tomorrow, you can get another one. Come back the next day, get another one. Come back the next day, get... I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I said, I understand if you're trying to limit me 1 item. That's fine, per character. But these are 4 different characters. They have different UPC numbers. The DCPI, which is a target internal number to represent the UPC number, is shared between the wave because that's just the way that works. He said, yeah, I'm so sorry, but since it's shared, I can only give you one. And I'm just like looking at him like, what? Kept my cool, didn't argue, didn't raise my voice. I simply explained, hey, I want to be able to build this character. He said, oh, is it one that has the arms and legs? Yeah, sure is. He said, oh, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll compromise. I'll sell you 2. And then you can come back tomorrow with the other 2. I'm like, why would you make me do that? I said, if you're not going to sell these to me, I'm going to have to drive 45 minutes away to go to this other Target, and I really don't want to do that. Do you really want to make me do that? And he's like, not really. So I kept pleading my case, being cool about it. Explained to him, I'm not aggressive, but I am very passionate, but I want these figures. Eventually I did win. He said he would sell me all 4. He said he'd follow up with a policy. And I told him, pretty sure that policy is an old wives' tale. It's something that's made up and definitely not an official Target policy. I do get some of these stores vary from store to store. They have their own rules. Maybe there's a bunch of aggressive collectors that come there, won't take no for an answer. And maybe that's what I am. And I told him all that stuff. So I did get my 4 figures, but I was very displeased to have to sit there for 25, 30 minutes just to plead my case, just to get the whole wave so I could have it all at once. What do you guys think? Was I being a jerk? Because I damn sure know I wasn't. Is that Target's policy? Hell no, that is not Target's policy. Only this particular Target always gives me this problem, and this happens to be the Target that always gets the figures first. So, with no further ado, let's open them up. Alright, now they got this figure out of the package. Here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with the back claw, display stand, and a collector's card. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Batman, based off his appearance in the video game Arkham City, voiced by the man himself, Kevin Conroy. The design was very similar to the Arkham Asylum Batman. And the figure, it does look to have some upgrades, but it does appear to be on the body that's about 2.5 years old, quite dated. And I've had a lot of people ask me, what do you think about the Arkham City Batman? What do you think about the Arkham City Batman? Well, he's nice, but mixed feelings. A lot of the same. Leg articulation, the arms, it's dated. The head looks very nice. The white eyes bother me. I guess he's in his sonar vision, but it just needs the pupils. That's how he looked in the entire game, and that's how I expect him to look. I guess he's supposed to be in detective mode, not really sure. Now the shin armor, I think is exactly the same as the Arkham Asylum figure, which is inaccurate, but we will dig in deep to all that later in the video. So, yeah, he's a nice figure, but I'm still kind of on the disappointed side. He is an upgrade from the Arkham Asylum Batman, but not the upgrade we need, not the one we deserve. So let's take a look at him. So starting with that head, I mean, it looks good. The sculpt on the cowl, the long ears, the white eyes just don't kind of do it for me because that's not how he looked in the majority of the game. Chin, very nice. His mouth, semi-frown. The bat symbol appears to be bigger than the Arkham Asylum one. The torso, I think it's a little bit different. Like I said, we'll dig in deep to all that later. The gauntlets look a little different. I don't really remember him having these sort of silver, hard or metal parts on his gauntlets, but maybe he did. Arms look dated. Legs look dated. Like I said, we'll dig into all that in a little bit. Torso does seem different to me. Cape's definitely different. I mean, the figure looks really nice, but I definitely have my complaints, that's for sure. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt. It is a very nice head sculpt. Maybe it looks just a tad small, but the sculpting detail is fantastic. I could probably just put some pupils in the eyes there to take care of that. Bothers me a little bit. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand. Black perfect circle. It says DC at the bottom. He's got one peg for the pegals on his feet. Very thin, very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Batman from the game. I really like when they use the source material in the collector's cards, and not just simply a picture of the figure. Batman from Batman Arkham City. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Then we have the bat claw. It's all one solid color, which kind of takes away a little bit. The claw should be sort of silver. You could repaint this, make it look a lot nicer. But the sculpt is there. A little soft, but it's definitely good enough. Here it is, next to a DC Direct version of the same accessory. Look at that. For once, McFarlane made the accessory smaller than the competitor. Here's Batman holding and getting ready to use his Batclaw. Now I wanted to check out the differences between this Arkham City Batman and the Arkham Asylum Batman from a couple years ago. I'm a big fan of the Arkham Asylum Batman, and this Arkham City Batman is a slight improvement, but it should be more of an improvement. So of course, their heads are completely different. The torsos are in fact exactly the same. The bat symbol is just different. Belts are the same, painted differently. Arms are the same, but the gauntlets are different. The hands, different. Yeah, they might be the same, just added extra stuff on top. Crotch, legs, identical. Feet, with that old, sort of bulky type of dated articulation. Capes are very different. This guy's cape is big. It would sort of help him stand, leaning back against it. Capes flowing to the side a little bit. So essentially, heads, gauntlets, cape. It's really about the only differences. Here are the DC Direct figures from Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. Arkham City, Arkham Asylum. Now, head's identical, torso identical, belt is different on the two figures. Gauntlets are different. That's something that McFarlane actually got right. The shin armor should be different. Yeah, it's not that different. They could have released the exact same figure, just given it different gauntlets, belt, shin armor, and it would have been technically accurate. Didn't even do that. And in case you were curious, here are the McFarlane figures on the two sides, next to the DC Direct versions in the middle. Just a tease of all the comparisons to come later. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, staying at about 7.0 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters. And if you go to the top of the ears, about 7.25 inches tall. Now let's check out his articulation. Start with his head here. Of course, you can rotate from side to side. Look up just a little bit, down pretty good amount. You can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders, a ball joint. Goes out about 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got that butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, covering up the gap and increasing the range of motion. Bicep cut. Single jointed elbow goes in a little bit less than 90 degrees. His wrist, it's ball in it, rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. There we go. Ball joint his torso, rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist, rotate around, forward and back, giving him pretty good range of motion. Legs, almost complete as a split. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation is non-existent. Legs go forward, about that much. Back, not at all. Double jointed knees. Then his ankles here. Forward and back. Rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. Here's Batman on a rooftop in Arkham City, overlooking the entire thing, planning his next move. Here's Batman taking on a bunch of orange jumpsuit Arkham City inmates. In the game, the map was full of these guys. Here's Batman in the museum, taking on Penguin and his gang. Here's Batman taking on a properly scaled Solomon Grundy. That's something you won't get from McFarlane. Then, Batman approaching Ra's al Ghul with his elite guards around him. And here, taking on the Joker and his gang, we have some tightened up Joker thugs, all kind of henchmen, ready to take down the Bat. And here's Batman taking on Clayface, just like in the final boss fight in the game. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Arkham City Batman figures. Here he is, next to a DC Direct Arkham City Batman. And here, next to the DC Direct Super Articulated Arkham City Batman. I believe he was in Series 4 from DC Direct's line. Here he is, next to the DC Direct Detective Mode Arkham City Batman. I also swapped some parts around and made a battle damaged Arkham City Batman. Here's the Arkham City Batman under Manhattan's control. Here he is, next to the Arkham City Bruce Wayne, out of the Bat costume. from the beginning of the game. And before we get off the subject of DC Direct, here he is, next to DC Direct's Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and Arkham Knight Batman figures. Then, with DC Direct's Bat Allies, Nightwing and Robin. Then, with a few different DC Direct Bat Rogues from Arkham City. Here he is, next to Mattel Arkham City Batman. And there are actually 5 different variations of the Mattel Arkham City Batman that you could choose from. Here's Batman with the Mattel versions of Nightwing and Robin. And here, with a few different Mattel Arkham City Batman Rogues. Now let's check them out. Next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here are all 4 figures from the collected build Solomon Grundy wave. Add in Solomon Grundy, and this is McFarlane's entire Arkham City collection so far. The next Arkham City figure coming is going to be the Sick Joker, and I've seen rumors of an Arkham City Riddler. Here he is, next to the Arkham Asylum Batman. He shares a ton of parts with this figure, and the game model is pretty similar too. And of the Arkham Asylum Batman, there are 3 variations to choose from: the Bronze, the Standard, and the tightened, muddied up version from the 2-pack. Here's this Arkham City Batman, next to McFarlane's entire Arkham Asylum collection. And here's McFarlane's entire Arkham City collection. The Sick Joker is next. Here's Batman with Deathstroke from Arkham Origins, the only figure from that game so far. Here's McFarlane's entire Arkham Knight collection, Batman, Arkham Knight, and a couple of gold label variations of Scarecrow and Red Hood. The next ones for Arkham Knight are going to be the standard paint jobs of Scarecrow and Red Hood. McFarlane has made figures based off other DC video games. Here's this Arkham City Batman, next to McFarlane's entire Injustice collection. And here he is, with McFarlane's Gotham Knights collection. And here, with a couple of Joker figures from Mortal Kombat 11. Here he is, with some other McFarlane Batman figures. These are all based off the comics. And here, with some more Batman figures. These are also based off the comics. Then, with some more Batman figures. These are from different various forms of media. Now let's check them out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here's this Batman, and the entire collected build Solomon Grundy Arkham City wave. And here he is, next to the Speed Metal wave, collected build The Darkest Knight. Then, with the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, Hush Superman and Rebirth Kid Flash. And now, with the Batman the Animated Series 30th Anniversary Batman. Here's Batman, next to the recently released gold label Target exclusive figures. We've got the Justice League Endless Winter Wonder Woman, Changing the Guard, Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, Defiant Deathstroke, and the Black Adam movie, Black Adam with Throne. And here he is, next to the most recent wave of Page Punchers. This was a Flash-themed wave, the 3rd wave. We have Flash, Atom, Gorilla Grodd, Captain Cold, and Heatwave. Then, with the 2nd wave of Page Punchers, this was based off Injustice 2, Batman, and Green Arrow. And now, with the 1st wave of Page Punchers, this is a Black Adam-themed wave. We've got Batman, Black Adam, Constantine, and Superman. Still waiting for Walmart to ship out my black and white Black Adam. Here's Batman, next to the 2 most recent Mega figures, at least before Gorilla Grodd. These are Bane and Necron. And here he is, next to the recent Walmart exclusive gold label figures. We've got the Speed Metal Dark Flash, Rebirth Shazam, Nightfall Azrael Batman armor, and Parallax Hal Jordan. Then, with the Court of Owl's Talon and the Rebirth Deathstroke. And now, with the Blue Beetle and Booster Gold 2-pack. Here's the Arkham City Batman, next to the Speeding Bullets Batman and the Dark Knight's Metal Batrocidus. And here he is, with the Future State Superman, the Infinite Frontier Scarecrow, and the New 52 Static. And finally, here he is, next to the Black Adam movie wave. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. I'm going to include as many Batman figures as I can during these comparisons. Since we already checked them out with a bunch of other McFarlane Batman figures, let's check them out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. Here are 5 different action figure lines, all McFarlane toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, with some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Batman figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 collective Batman figures. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Batman figures. And here he is, standing next to some Make-Fix Batman figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts Batman figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a pretty nice Batman figure. At the beginning of the video, I was sharing my complaints about some disappointments with this guy. And those complaints are definitely valid. But as I've handled this guy for the last while, making this video, putting him in different scenarios, I'm really growing attached to this figure. He's definitely superior to the Arkham Asylum Batman in a lot of ways. Sure, his legs, his ankles, and his elbows could definitely use improved articulation. But he definitely screams Arkham City Batman, gives off the right vibe. I love the game, I'm really liking this figure. The sculpt and paint job are excellent, no issues there. Just wish he had pupils in his eyes. His articulation, well, it's about 2.5 years out of date. McFarlane has made huge improvements in that department, and I wish they were implemented on this figure. His accessories are pretty cool. The back claw's nice, and it's not oversized like a lot of the McFarlane accessories are. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Some minor tweaks or improvements, this guy would easily be an 8.5. But, as it is, there were a few disappointing aspects of this figure. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.